The sixth tournament of the Live Golf Series has teed off in Bangkok, and I'm delighted to be joined by golf legend and the CEO of Live Golf, Greg Norman. Greg, it's been interesting the last 12 months. In February, a very big star of your sport called your circuit dead in the water, and he is now turned around and saying it's time to turn down the rhetoric. Does that show how far you all have come?
Well, I don't care what other people say, quite honestly. I know how far we have come in 15 rounds of golf. At the end of today, it'll be 16 rounds of golf. And quite honestly, the product is speaking for itself. The players love it. The fans love it. Just to hear our first tournament in Asia. And that tells me that we're doing the right thing. The business model is a great business model. It's been received extremely well. So other people can have their opinions and say what they want to say. Just be consistent, don't be inconsistent. And when you understand what our business model truly is, you'll understand that it's 100% additive to the entire golfing ecosystem. And the players, like I said, the players are loving it.
Yes, I've been talking to a few of them, and they all have good things to say. And you can also sense the vibe out here. It's much more relaxed, and the kind of, they don't have that sort of pressure on them. But I want to ask you is that it doesn't take a startup 4 months to achieve this sort of global impact. It's actually been massive for you the last 4 or 5 months. Looking at that, does it satisfy you, or does it tell you what more can be achieved?
Well, every week we've improved, right? Every week from our innovation and our evolution, right, we look at last week or the last tournament to see how this tournament can be better. And so you can never rest on your laurels, right? We're never going to be, Live is never going to be a platform that sits in a box doing the same thing over and over again. We want to change it up. We want to be varying. We want to be able to adapt to the culture of where we are here today in Thailand, bring that culture out. And the players are loving it, to be honest with you, because the players are embracing it. You see them traveling together, having dinner together, experience life together, and you never had that on any other tour than when I played it, that's for sure.
Okay, Anirban Lahiri called Live Golf the T20 of golf, and I know you're Australian, so I don't need to explain cricket to you, but there was a similar kind of a pushback when the 50-over format was gradually replaced by T20 in cricket. Is that the problem, you think, with the detractors of the circuit, is that they've got their blinkers on and they're not ready to embrace change?
Well, they're not ready to embrace change because they didn't recognize it themselves. They've been stuck in their own box, right? For 53 years, they've been doing the same thing. It's very boring. It's very staid. And you talk about cricket. Kerry Packer. Kerry Packer changed the way cricket was played, changed the way cricket was produced, changed the way the fans embraced it, and IPL came out of it. And what's happened with IPL? The franchise model grew. And now you see some of these franchises worth hundreds of millions of dollars because of what Kerry Packer did. So he had the ability, but still, what do we still love to watch as cricketers? Test cricket. Yeah. Test cricket never died, right? So what you're seeing here with Live is the same thing. It's just a different platform, a different model that sits additive to everything else. And all the majors are never going to die. The majors are going to be the majors. The Live golfers will play in the majors. The PGA Tour will play in the majors. The European Tour will play in the majors. So it's just, certain people, when you're a monopolist and you've had control of something for 53 years, they're going to do whatever they can to smear you, put a different light on you, change the image or the dynamics of it. So I get some of that stuff, but don't judge us without knowing the business model.
This concept is something you've spoken about in the past as well. And there's been, as you said, a lot of criticism. But what has been the personal cost for you? Because it's cost you as well, let's face it.
Well, personal cost is really friends, quite honestly. Shallow-minded friends who've judged me and my decision to take the game of golf, which is a force for good, and just grow it and create new value. Some of them have judged me for the wrong reasons, and that disappoints me the most. I've got a pretty good heat shield, to be honest with you. My heat shield is very, very strong and very, very protective for my team behind me. I knew I was going to be out front. I knew I was the one who's going to get most of it. But at the end of the day, I understood the model and how strong the model is. And to this day, is he not one person in this world that I have spoken to, from billionaires to CEOs to the regular people out here, have told me what we're doing is a stupid idea. Not one person. And the only people who have told me or tried to be very vitriolic against us has been the monopolist. They're the ones who are trying to break us down. They're the ones who are trying to destroy us. We've never tried to destroy any other tour organization. We want to show that our players have the right and want to go play other tours as well. And they do. Our players do go play other tours. But why is it that the other tours are saying you can't go play LIV? Or if you do play LIV, you can never come back here. That's not growing the game of golf.
Yes, you spoke about heat shields. We could have done with you right now.
Exactly.
But in all the communications, there are court cases which have been filed on both sides. They seem to be coming after you and saying, oh, this is sport washing and quote unquote, this is dirty money. Is that something which is sort of, below the belt? That they can't question your model of this, what you're putting out, but it's more of where the backing is coming from.
Well, I think, again, back to the monopolists, they're going to use whatever terminology they can to try and break us down. They can't break us down because golf is a force for good. And and I look at it from the golf platform. I look at it from a sports platform. And I've done it for 45 years of my life, from golf diplomacy, going into different countries around the world for as long as I have done through the game of golf, and delivering a new opportunity, a new mechanism for education and economics and hospitality. Golf has done that, whether you've been a player or whether you've done it in business. So I never look at it that way. And if somebody wants to try and smear you with that, shame on you, because again, if you understood what the business model truly is, fine. But don't be a hypocrite either, right? Because the PGA Tour has some like 27 sponsors or title sponsors on the PGA Tour that do tens of billions of dollars worth of business in Saudi Arabia. So why is it okay for them, for those sponsors, to be with the PGA Tour and not with LIV? The hypocrisy is so deafening, it's crazy. And the other thing too, Gulf Saudi. Gulf Saudi is the largest sponsor of women's golf in the world. Now, one peep to the women about, oh, you're taking, is this sports washing? Not one peep. So, it's a hypocrisy. Why is it not good for 48 professional men's players, but for the rest of the world, why is it okay for the U.S. government to do deals, in that part of the world? So, I feel very good about where I am because of the delivery mechanism. I feel very good about where I am because of my C-suite and the people behind me, 120 plus people who are working for me, and for our product. And I feel great where I am for what I'm doing for the game of golf.
The other issue which has come up while we've been here is the issue of the world ranking points. You'll have the strategic alliance with the MENA Tour, and you're expected to have world ranking points for your players. But bit of a pushback from the World Ranking Board. Is that a setback?
No, it's not a setback. It's a setback for them because, quite honestly, my players should have it. There's 22 tours out there, I believe, that have world ranking points. There's only one that's either equal or a little bit superior than what LIV is. Only one out of those 22. So it doesn't make sense from a major's perspective. It doesn't make sense from a broadcaster's perspective. You're paying and investing for your strength of field. And by degrading the strength of field, by not allowing LIV players to get OWGR points, is not doing the game of golf any good. Rise above it all. It's good for the players. It's good for the game of golf. It's good for production. It's good for corporations. It's good for OEMs. It's good for fans. It's good for everybody. Just because you have a negative viewpoint and you're one of the voting members of an independent organization that you hate LIV, that you're going to vote against it, grow up.
Okay, and your players have alluded to that in the letter they wrote to the World Ranking Board. But Greg, does it get frustrating for you at some point when you see this kind of pushback? Or as you said, you've got this great team which keeps you going, but at some point it must be frustrating.
No, it's not frustrating. You can't run through a brick wall without getting bloody, right? And And this brick wall that's been put up in front of us has been put up for 53 years. The PGA Tour has never had any competition in 53 years. No tour owns the game of golf. We don't own the game of golf. We don't want to own the game of golf. We want the game of golf to be beneficial about what we are, and what we have, and what we can give. So I don't get frustrated by it. It'll all work itself out one way, shape, or form. LIV is not going to go anywhere. LIV is just going to go keep growing and growing. And when we launch the league next year, you're going to see a change in the momentum. You're going to see a change in the enthusiasm with the players. You're going to see a change with the fans. Because remember, this year's a beta year. We're doing a test year. Next year, when the league is up and the franchise model is starting to talk about more and more and more, showcase more, and all these fans are going to wear the swag of whatever team they so choose to wear for, now the energy differs. It comes up and up and up and up. So our future is extremely bright, extremely loud, and for the game of golf, for the players and the fans and broadcasters and everybody, institutions, stakeholders, it's a very, very bright future.
Yes, there's some music in the background which we can hear, which we did have at golf courses before. But you spoke about the next year. That's when what we're looking at is, it seems to be like the Formula One circuit around the world. You're going to go to more and more locations around the world. Is that how you grow the game of golf as well? By going to centers which have not traditionally been seen as golfing sort of destinations?
Yeah, simple answer to that is 100% yes. America's not the be-all and the end-all. America's not the only place golf is played. Look what's happening in Asia right now. We invested significantly into Asia for the Asian Tour and the International Series to grow the game of golf. Asia is a sleeping giant, right? Look what's happening with golf course construction in the world. 60% of it's all from the Middle East to the Far East. It's not in America. It's not in South America. It's here in this region, which is what, 3/4 of the population of the world is right here. So when you identify that and understand that space, you're going to work your business model into that, and you're going to invest there to come out on the other side of it. Remember, we're a commercial operation. So we'll invest our dollars into the innovation side of things. We'll invest our dollars to where we can better improve the product to get a better return on our investment. And who's the benefactors for all that? You, everybody here, the players, the game of golf.
You speak about the commercial aspect of it, but going forward, how do you see, you alluded to that in one of the previous questions, how do you see this model becoming self-sustainable? Because you've got investors with deep pockets. As you said, this is the beta year, but going forward, this is a business.
Mm-hmm. That's right. You build out the franchise. That virgin space, that franchise space, that's never been done before in golf. Golf was just the same 72 holes, same box, same presentation. If you're a player, you had to perform well or you didn't make any money, and you had to cover your own expenses. That model is fine. If that's what you want, happy days. Go do it, right? We've identified the space, just like in cricket, just like with IPL, just like in the Premier League, just like all the other leagues, the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, all those leagues that have these franchise models that create value, and that value is looked upon. Golf is the only sport in the world, if my memory is right, that hasn't had the opportunity to have PE money coming in. We have that opportunity now because you can invest in a franchise. And then you build that franchise up. And the bigger the franchise gets, the bigger the league gets. The bigger the league gets, the bigger the franchise gets. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So one day our investor's going to say, I've invested in here, I want to get a return on my investment. He's going to see that the models delivered this for him, and he's going to get a multiple. Whatever that multiple is, it is what it is, right? Somebody else is looking at us today, more than one person, are looking at us today because they see what can happen and where we're going to be in 3, 5, 7, whatever period of time down the line.
On that optimistic note, thank you, Greg. I do hope you factored in that rise in your contract as well. Sure. But thank you for having us over here from India, and hopefully we get a good weekend of golf. And if the first day is the indication, seeing the crowds on that first tee, which I mentioned to you, then we're in for some fun.
We are for sure. And look, the world has made a statement by supporting us. The world has made the statement because the product is wanted and desired, and we're delivering. We're going to keep delivering, and we're just going to keep improving on it. So thank you for having me.